to Evil Popcorn. This is another conversation. I, of course, am Mr. Popcorn. We have someone in New Zealand. Could they introduce themselves? Why are you there? Why are you there? Go for it.
Hello, it's the Baron. I'm in New Zealand for a holiday, and we've previously been at the New Zealand Improv Festival in Wellington last week. I'm also visiting a bunch of sites while I'm here for the Viva La Dirt League guys, who are another YouTube channel.
Okay, cool, cool. And certainly last but not least, how would you be there, Sarah?
Scream Queen here, ready to talk about our top 5 non-horror movies that scared us.
Yes, this is an interesting choice. This was fun. I struggled at the start. I had one or two
initially I was
definites.
like, oh God, yeah.
Yeah. But they start coming back to you, the terrible movies that you've seen, as there are plenty. Yeah. But first of all,
how
I
did we
did
go
pick
about it?
one TV series though.
okay, that's cool. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before we break into that, I wanted to ask you both, as we're halfway, or we're kind of 2/3 of the way through spooky season, through October. Has anyone done anything for it, been celebrating in any way, or just waiting to the main event?
I'll wait to the main event for me, yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
I've had a few had a little Halloween shindig, dressed up as Columbia from Rocky Horror, which was fun. Want to say my best Halloween costume to date. I'm pretty impressed with it.
It was good. Yes.
I hot glued like hundreds of plastic gems to her corset, so that was.
Did you hot glue all of those?
Okay, it was a combination. Here's a little peek behind the curtain. A combination between hot glue and fabric glue. When I got too lazy with the individual gem, I just sort of whacking glue on there and throwing the gems at it and hoping that it would look okay.
Nice. Okay.
So yeah,
I feel you.
I've been watching a lot of. You're doing the 31 days of horror.
I'm trying.
How's that been going?
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
It's a lot. That's hard work.
It is a lot. It is a lot. You wouldn't think it's a lot to watch one film a day, but life is busy. And it's a lot of work. And first of all, shout out Frenchie for the party last night. I myself was Ghostface. I already had the costume. So it was very easy, but I thought it worked well, and it was lots of fun. Bit seedy today, but that's what happens. I have been watching some horror movies. I'm kind of a few days behind. I'm hoping to catch up. I may do. I don't know if you guys wanted to come on. I may do a solo if it's not of interest, of just going through my 31 films, that sort of thing. The one that I will point out is Terrified. Yeah, Argentinian director, can't remember his name. It's a really creepy atmosphere, really ambiguous. But there were 3 jump scares that almost made me fall off my chair. Yeah, and I'm virtually immune to jump scares, but these were just like, what is happening?
You could say that you were terrified.
Yes, exactly. Nicely done. I think he's got a new one. I think it's called When Evil Lurks as well. Same guy. And if it's as good,
I've seen the trailer for that.
Yeah. And if it's as good or better than Terrified, he's my new favorite horror director. Yep, I'm making that call because Terrified blew my mind. I haven't seen something like this in a long time. Well, since around 2017 when it was made. Yeah. So I definitely recommend that. And otherwise, just doing Evil Corp and, escape rooms, which are being a bit spooky at the moment. And lots coming up for Halloween, but I'll get to that at the end when I want to do my plugs. Okay. But today we are doing the top 5 non-horror movies that scared us. My definition of scared / perturbed / disgusted. So I keep it loose in that way. But who wants to spark off? Who wants to start off?
I'll go.
Do you want to? Oh yeah, go for it.
Please, Baron.
Okay. All right. So coming in at number 5 on my list was a thriller made in or released in 1990, called Pacific Heights. The actor of note in that is the 1989's Batman, Michael Keaton. He plays someone that moves into an apartment in a building in San Francisco as a tenant of the people who are trying to obviously pay off their mortgage a little bit quicker or something like that, and then proceeds to begin to terrify them from within his unit with noises and cockroaches and like being generally creepy. And he was genuinely creepy. I went to see it because of the link to the Batman film, and was very surprised to see some spectacular acting from Michael Keaton.
Nice.
I truly scary performance.
I'm trying to share screens here. Is this working? I don't know.
Yes.
It is? Okay, fantastic, because I've just lost my Zoom screen in the process of doing it.
Matthew Modine. He's in Stranger Things. Am I correct?
Oh, yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but it wasn't a horror film in any way whatsoever, but it was Michael Keaton's performance was truly scary. I had nightmares.
Okay.
Nightmares.
Interesting. So what would you call it? A thriller, a suspense?
Yeah, suspense thriller. I had a little bit of a look online before, and it came up in the suspense thriller category on IMDb.
Okay. I have lost all my screens.
Coming up with my lists, I think I took all the ones out that were sort of in the thriller category personally, because I was like, I guess maybe some of these you could argue are horror movies, like loosely. So I sort of I was like, oh, if it's a thriller, maybe not, because I don't want someone being like, well, that's technically a horror film. But that one, not to say that you can't have a thriller in there. I was just interested to see how we filtered down our lists.
One in my list. I left this one in my list because there's no overt horror elements to it, other than maybe like the bug stuff with the cockroaches that he feeds through the wall.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that is horrifying. Yeah. It's a fine choice of thriller or suspense, because like when there were video stores, they were basically, right next to each other, sometimes on the same shelf, so they are adjacent. It is horror adjacent, but it was Michael Keaton's performance that scared you, however you want to define that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like coming from where he'd been Batman the hero to this creepy guy living beneath someone's stairs was amazing.
No, he's a good actor. What do you think of Michael Keaton, Scream Queen?
I like him. I really like Birdman.
Birdman's brilliant.
He's great in that. So just from that performance alone, and of course Batman. Not that some people have things to say about his Batman. He's not my favorite Batman, but he's good. He's good.
Okay. Yes, I'm a fan. I think he is very good. Yeah, good choice. Nice way to start us off. Scream Queen, what do you have for number 5?
My number 5, again, the order on this is sketchy, but Watership Down.
Oh,
I have. The 1970s animated classic Watership Down about rabbits in the countryside. You would be surprised that it's actually horrific. I don't know if anyone else has been traumatized by this film like I have. But it still scares me. It was notable because I remember watching it as a child and being like shocked at the violence and the tyranny of this rabbit community. I think I pulled that directly from the trailer. but I rewatched a little video compilation before this in preparation of the most disturbing scenes from the movie, and I can safely say that they are just as disturbing to me now. Just rabbits just ripping each other to shreds and foaming at the mouth, and the imagery is so scary. Like there's that one scene where it's called Fields of Blood, and he's just imagining this blood leaking through the fields, and the trees are going darker and growing, and it's very scary. So that's my number 5.
Fantastic. Yeah. Before I go, Baron, what's your history with Watership Down?
It's number 4 on my list.
There you go.
Fantastic synchronicity again.
And I've got a story around that, which we'll get to when I get to number 4.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's number 4 on my list.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, amazing.
Well, I know I need to rewatch this, but I am hesitant because it did disturb me as a child. I don't really remember it, but you were describing the wolves tearing out rabbits' throats and stuff, and I've seen certain images of that growing up, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's that film, isn't it? Yes, that disturbed me deeply. One day I will go back to it, but so yeah, fantastic choice.
It's good, yeah.
Okay. This is a little different. My number 5, again, the definition of being scared is kept very loose, certainly from my end. That's because my number 5 is The Notebook.
Oh.
Yeah. This didn't scare me.
Why did it scare you?
Oh, I did it because such a movie has been made that people watch this and enjoy it. This is all jokes, like what you want, of course. This is just entertainment. But I was forced to watch it. Yes, it was a girlfriend, and wasn't for me. Deeply not for me. I thought it was really schmaltzy, really trite, and it defined why I dislike stereotypical romantic comedies. There, Scream Queen, not wanting to start off any beef. I know you like the rom-coms. But
it's okay. I don't like The Notebook. I couldn't finish it, so
I thought it was just real, basically like it's what's wrong with most of romantic comedies. It's too idyllic, you know what I mean? It doesn't really speak on human relationships or psychology or dynamics or interaction in any real way, giving people false hope, pretenses. And this isn't coming from someplace bitter. Again, I was in a perfectly happy relationship at the time watching this movie, yeah? But no, it sucked deeply, and it disturbed me that this was actually made. Yeah, that's my rant.
Disturbed. It's good. It's good.
Okay.
Very valid. Very valid.
Yeah, okay. Baron, Watership Down. What's the story?
Watership Down. So my beginning history with Watership Down, for my 3rd grade talent show, my 3rd grade teacher, Mr. Strudwick, got the entire class stood around a guitar, and we sang Bright Eyes from Watership Down, the song that was released in the charts at the time. And off the strength of that, I thought it would be a happy, funny, lovely family movie about lovely bunnies who have an adventure in the countryside, and everyone goes home safe.
Oh, it's an adventure.
I went to the video store and I hired Watership Down, and I took it home. I got dinner and I watched it at night by myself, and was terrified by the imagery of the film. Yeah,
not by yourself. Not by yourself in grade 3.
As a
grade 3
8-year-old. Yeah.
The stuff you were watching as a child. The stuff you were watching.
I know. I probably saw that movie when I was 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we similar.
Yeah,
because you'd assume that, right?
Yeah.
Little bunnies hopping around. No, they're savage animals.
Yeah. And the song was Simon and Garfunkel, wasn't it? Bright Eyes?
I think so.
Let me just check that, because I remember that song. I
remember the song.
Bright eyes burning like fire. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a lovely little, lovely little folk ditty, very, easy listening. Play
Yeah.
it to your grandparents. But then, yeah,
Have you
this.
grade three sing it?
Sorry.
Have you grade three sing it at the talent show?
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if
Garfunkel.
anyone else in your class. I wonder if anyone in your class went home and did the same thing.
Look, probably. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
rough.
yeah.
A whole class
Yeah,
traumatized.
disturbed generations. Yes, and then the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Scream Queen, what's your number 4, please? Thank you, Baron.
My number 4 is Monster House, the children's movie.
Good choice.
Monster House, this is the titular house.
I've seen that on Google. I haven't seen the movie. Is it good?
It is good. I mean, it's a family movie, but I think it's great.
Okay. Yeah.
And similarly to the Watership Down shenanigan, I saw this movie. I think it came out, I want to say like 2005, 2006. I went and saw it in the like old theater cinema in my town, and I was not all right after I watched that movie. It is horrific.
Is it?
It's okay. So this is the plot for those who don't know. So it's the
scary.
classic. It is scary. It's a classic, like, house at the end of the street. Like, there's that one house in the street that everyone stays away from. Grumpy old man lives there. Don't walk on my grass. Like, you don't want to get caught on his lawn. Otherwise, anything that you lose there, a ball or a tricycle, will be stolen, taken from you by this angry grandpa. But these kids, they decide to go into the house. They find out the house is alive. And it is hungry. Okay. And it is so scary and also so tragic.
Is it?
And yeah, so spoilers for those who haven't seen Monster House, yeah. But this old man is actually protecting the children from the house because he was married to a woman that was bullied by the community and the children in the town, essentially, and she died in the house. I can't remember how. I think maybe she gets buried under the concrete or something like that, and her angry spirit is sort of possessing the home. So the house is her.
Oh.
Yep.
And he's sort of protecting everyone from herself, from the house, which is her, and she's mad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
And him being in the house sort of soothes her rage and stuff. But it is really scary. And a running theme in my nightmares is, I know this sounds awful. I mean, it happens in horror as well, but like old people, I find it really scary. They can be really scary, like angry old people. I've had a lot of recurring nightmares about like getting in trouble or old people turning into monsters. So this really, really preyed on my worst fears. And I watched it a year or so ago, and it's scary. Also, the animation, the way the animation, the faces is also horrific. It's not bad. It's good, but there are a few characters, their faces are like scary. Yep, that's my rant about Monster House.
It's on my to-view list. You've seen this, Baron?
It's good. It's a children's film, so it's more. It's not a Saw movie, but it did take me. It did take me about like 15 years to work up the courage to watch it again.
Excellent. I'll definitely
I think I
check
saw it
it
on
out.
a plane.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Good choice. Okay. Nice mix. Okay, I think it's me, isn't it? I believe. Number four.
Yeah.
Yes, right. My number four is American Sniper. Do we remember this piece of propaganda trash?
No.
It's about
I
Chris.
do, yeah.
It's about Chris Kyle. Yeah. Shout out to Abby Martin. Yeah. Because she helped highlight how much of a piece of shit this guy is. Abby Martin is a independent liberal journalist. She's awesome. Yeah, she really highlighted how much of a piece of shit this guy was, including going over there to the Middle East and wearing a fuck Chris Kyle shirt on all of her interviews. Yeah, she's awesome. But anyway, this movie, yeah, Bradley Cooper. First of all, it's really badly made. Everyone, including Bradley Cooper, is really bad in it. I'm giving that to the direction, though. I'm giving that to the direction. And the way that it made this guy out to be something that was and is absolutely not, and how it just glorified the whole Middle East situation. I'm not going to, certainly not at the moment, not going to go into detail or anything like that. War sucks. Yeah, that's just my opinion. However it comes across, whoever it involves, war's just fucking horrible because there's innocent victims in all of this. Yeah. And yeah, no, I hate war, and this was just a real kind of piece of propaganda trash. Yeah. Fuck this movie, fuck Chris Kyle. That's my rant.
I will not add it to my to watch list. I'll make sure I never see it.
Yeah. No, he did well to do the movie with Lady Gaga not long after this. Yeah. Yeah. He basically redeemed himself after that one. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Scream Queen. What do you got?
My number 3 is The Big Short. Because I think it's scary in an existential way, in a way of how the world operates as a society, how money works, and how bad people can get away with bad things, and the world just keeps going and there's no consequences. I think that movie is terrifying, and the amount of existential dread I felt watching that film is why it is number 3 on the list. It is just scary in a deeply real way. I was just horrified at, and I know it's a comedy, and I know they have little funny little Margot Robbie little snips, but it's not a comedy, but you know what I mean. That is a horror movie. The Big Short is a horror movie, looking at the way the world operates, the financial crisis. It's terrifying.
Yeah. It was the mortgage. It was the financial crisis. The crash.
Yeah.
The mortgage housing crisis in the 2000s.
Yeah, they were selling houses to people that couldn't afford them, and then
basing it on credit that didn't exist, and it just fell out. The bottom fell out from it. And I've never heard of this. Go for it.
You've never seen it?
Nah.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot of really, really big names. Got Ryan Gosling is in it, I think.
Ryan Gosling,
Steve Carell,
Brad Pitt.
Not Patrick Bateman. What's his name?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale plays like a tech genius. It's really good. It's a very, very well done film. I really enjoyed it, but it is horrific. And
I see it's by Adam McKay. What is the name here? McKay? Yeah, McKay. He did Anchorman and Step Brothers. Yeah. He did those comedy movies. Recently, this 2015. Yeah, I'm not
those are horrible.
He did Don't Look Up in 2021 on Netflix. I didn't see it.
I watched the first 15 minutes. I got bored. But this movie is great. I think it's kind of a film bro-esque movie. But it definitely is a horror movie. Just the situation that it's about.
Gotcha.
And just seeing the behind the scenes and the way people make decisions, and then the way the government and sort of everything unfolds.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, we all know what the world is like, right?
Yeah, we do, absolutely. It's very interesting getting insights here into what scares you outside of jump scares. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of explains why we watch horror.
Mm.
Baron, do you know that you know this movie? You've seen this?
Yes. Yeah, I saw it. Look, Scream Queen is right to be scared of it because it's terrifying from an ongoing worldwide perspective. Like that whole all the stuff with the finances. It's just like there are these people that are controlling so much stuff, and they really shouldn't be. Like they've been put in control of stuff that we don't. It's not good for us for them to be in control of.
Mm-hmm. Steve Carell, doesn't he play a serious role? Didn't he get an award or was nominated? Is that the same movie?
Maybe.
It's sort of like it's serious, I guess.
Okay. I could just be thinking of something else. It's all good. Yeah.
No, I think it is. I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just curious. Yeah. Cool. Good choice. It's on my to-view list as well. I will watch that one. Yeah. Baron, your number 3, please.
Hang on, let me have a quick look. It doesn't look like he got an award for that one.
He didn't, or he did?
So he didn't. He
didn't
get an award for that one.
Thank you for doing that. Okay.
All right. So number 3 is my TV series.
Okay.
So I picked the wonderful television series that was hosted by Mr. Spock himself, Leonard Nimoy, in the 70s, called In Search Of. In Search Of did a number of episodes with things like the Bermuda Triangle, the Loch Ness Monster.
Okay.
The episode that did it for me was the Bigfoot episode. There was a lot of really moody shots of forests at night and odd noises and people going missing and that sort of thing.
Cool.
And yeah,
that's cool.
Anytime we were driving down a tree-lined road at night, I would be just terrified that Bigfoot was going to leap out and kill us all or something. So yeah, the Bigfoot episode of In Search Of.
So it was a documentary style.
Yeah.
Very
very much ignited my passion for cryptids.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I get that. I used to read a bunch of ghost and monster books when I was young as well. Sparked the imagination, definitely. I mean, a little scary but fun at the same time. So I definitely can relate to that. Yeah, I haven't heard about the Leonard Nimoy one. I am looking here at, is it Zachary Quinto, I think his name is. He's from American Horror Story. It looks like HBO's done a new version, a recent version. On the History Channel, it's called In Search Of on the History Channel.
I didn't know they'd done a new one.
This is just an image search. Yeah, didn't he play Spock, the new Spock?
I think he might have. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
In the movies, the Kelvin Heinlein movies.
Yeah. The sexy Star Trek. Yeah.
Is that one with Chris Pine?
He was also in Heroes.
Yeah, and he's great in American Horror Story. Yeah.
In Heroes.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, no, I like all that old shit. You know, like the Twilight Zone is iconic. It is legend.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and Tales from the Crypt, Dark Side, all of that sort of stuff. I loved as a kid. Yeah.
Outer Limits.
Yeah, good choice. And that was your number. What number are we up to?
3.
That was your 3. So is this your 3rd Scream Queen?
I've done my 3rd, so it's your 3rd.
Okay.
It's you.
Thank you. What do we have here? Okay, this is an interesting one. Yeah, it's Natural Born Killers, and I'm going to explain why. Yeah, because when you watch it now, because I have watched it recently, like about a few months ago, and I was like, well, the impact's not the same. It's definitely a product of its time, i.e., the 90s. But it's still a well put together film. It's still effective. Certainly, the 3rd act in the prison is actually quite masterful. The way that is composed. Yeah, it's actually a really good riot scene. But I saw this in Christchurch close to when it came out, and I don't know why. There's the okay. There's the troubled childhood stuff. Yes, that did affect me because this film is, at the start is riddled with it. But I'd seen other films with that in it. But the way I guess it was at that time I hadn't seen anything like that. There wasn't really kind of like a crazy montage film showing horrific acts or trauma, that sort of thing in such a fashion, in such a cut up fashion. Yeah, you've seen it, Scream Queen?
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Okay. Well, what Oliver Stone did in 1994 when this came out, there was say there would be like news footage, then there'd be commercials, then there'd be an animated scene, then there'd be real footage, and then there'd be Dutch angles, and it was just constant change to show the psychoticness of the killers, of Juliette Lewis and Woody Harrelson. It's very much a Bonnie and Clyde of the 90s as well.
Oh, it's Juliette Lewis.
Juliette Lewis, when she was younger,
I love her. Yeah.
When I watched this film in the cinema, it was like a bad mushroom trip. I came out really disturbed, not in a good way, and I had to go away by myself for a couple of days and think about this film. It's an action film. It is very violent. But it's not definitively a horror film. And and that experience not only scared me, but shook me. So that's why my number 3 is Natural Born Killers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good call.
Thank you. Okay, who's next?
I'll
Scott,
go number 2.
Yeah.
I'll go number 2. There we go. So my number 2 is The Never-Ending Story from 1984.
Okay.
One particular character in The Never-Ending Story gave me nightmares, and it's a character called The Nothing. In the books, The Nothing is not quite as well described. In the movie, it's an animatronic wolf character that seems to be implacably chasing everyone and consuming stuff. And just the wolf puppet that they used in The Never-Ending Story, 1984, gave me nightmares. There's a particular scene where it appears out of a dark tunnel, and at first you just see the 2 points of the eyes, and then there's the teeth, and then the wolf is revealed. It just shivers. Even thinking about it now, I've got goosebumps.
Yeah, I have a little. I loved the concept of the Nothing, because I think you see it as the wolf once in the movie, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves.
Yeah.
And the rest...
You see
please.
Well. You see it well as the wolf once, but it's in shots like running past, like going through the forest and that sort of stuff.
And isn't the Nothing like a black rolling cloud sometimes, just consuming everything as well? That scared me, the concept of that, because it was the first time, because I saw it, when it came out in the early 80s, and that was the first time my little brain had that kind of concept presented to them. And it was like, ooh, just like nothing, blackness, oblivion over everything. That freaked me out. Yeah. You've seen this movie, Scream Queen?
Yes, I've seen The Never-Ending Story. I don't remember it well enough. Like I remember moments, but I don't know if I remember it well enough to remember this character. But I did look up a photo.
There's, of course, the horse scene as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Artax dying is horrific.
Yeah. That's the scene that I thought might have done it.
I've heard something.
It's the second one. It's the second scene that does that.
Now, Baron, I have heard that the horse dies, not just in the movie, but that horse actually died, like whilst shooting the movie. I don't know how real any of that is, but that is just an urban legend I've heard. Can you shine a light on that at all?
I hadn't heard that. But it sounds plausible.
Yeah.
Let's do a little bit of a quick Google while we're here.
Because that would make it even more horrific. That horse actually died. It was a very sad scene. It was a very sad scene, to say the least.
And it makes the pot plant decorations you can now buy even worse.
Hot
So
plant.
you can get a pot plant decoration of Atreyu and Artax buried up to their middles in soil.
I think I've seen that on the
Um,
internet. Yeah.
okay.
Ah,
Here we go. The horse
No.
did not really die, despite what has been said throughout the years. First of all, we had two
okay.
identical white horses that played Artax. They were so beautiful.
Okay. Okay. Good. 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 I'm
Okay.
glad we cleared that up. Actually, good. Okay. Thank you for that.
You
Thank you
can
for
you
that.
can sleep better at night.
Yeah. Are we up to your number 2, Scream Queen?
I think so, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Darren Aronofsky's Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, we
Oh,
were
yeah.
discussing this last night, or I think maybe it came up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Please,
yes.
please, please.
I mean, what is there to say? This movie is horrific.
Mhm.
Like most Darren Aronofsky films, just people suffering, being pushed to their limit, just the most terrible things imaginable happening to every single character. I don't know if this one is like it's scary. It's 100% scary, but I don't know if it's more scary or more just emotionally harrowing to watch it. And full disclosure, I have only seen like 90% of it. So the very end of the movie,
That's right.
I haven't
That's
seen.
right.
And so
Yeah.
I know I fell asleep. So I know that the last act or sequence that happens is traumatizing beyond words, terrible, and I haven't seen it. So even as someone who's seen 90% of that movie, it is top 2. Like it scared the shit out of me. It's just the mother, especially what she's going through.
Yeah.
Is god awful. I hate it. I would never watch that movie again, ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the mental health implication stuff from it was just hideous.
It is, yeah, it's absolutely gut-wrenching.
What I
Traumatic.
appreciated about it was its use of alienation, because the music's beautiful by the Kronos Quartet. Cinematography is fantastic. All of the performances were really well done. And so you're watching the nature of addiction and how that just basically destroys people, but in a kind of beautiful, aesthetically pleasing framework, and kind of makes you question, for me, it made me question, like, yeah, this isn't just entertainment. It actually happens for real, and it destroys people's lives. And so it's got that Brechtian alienation thing to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's not just an entertaining movie. And and I've got stuff from my past and friends I've seen go down, like, certain paths that these characters do. And not thankfully my good friends are not just social acquaintances, made it out. Yeah, so I definitely feel you on the emotionally harrowing nature of this movie. Yeah, really good choice.
Yeah. I did have Train Spotting in my list as I was narrowing it down, because you think about the baby scene. That's if that's not horror, I don't know what is. But I do think that this one stuck in my brain more than Train Spotting, which is why it made the list instead. It's just
another one along these lines, in terms of emotionally harrowing movies about junkies, is Christiane F. I don't know if you've heard of Christiane F, either of you two. It was David Bowie does the soundtrack, and the main character goes and sees David in the film playing that song within the soundtrack, if that makes sense. So it's done, so it's really cool in that way. but it's about junkies in East Berlin back in the day. And it's even more horrific than Requiem for a Dream, because the one thing Requiem for a Dream, apart from the certain scenes with certain acts, that I'm not going to discuss, this shows the actual human, like everyone's quite pretty. Again, it's that alienation thing. Everyone's quite beautiful within Requiem for a Dream, and Christian F they are not. And you see the physical side effects in full graphic detail in Christian F in terms of coming off narcotics. And it's
I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could do it.
That perturbed me, that film.
I'm a fragile being.
Great choice. I think it's that was your number 2, Never Ending Story.
Yeah, so I think it's
okay.
Your turn.
Okay. All right. This has to come out at some point on the podcast. Generally speaking, I've come to terms with the fact that it is an art form that is very popular, and who am I? Have fun, do what you like, people, but it's not for me, and that is the genre of the musical. And my hate it. This was so corny, it disturbed me deeply, it scared me in its corniness, and that is The Sound of Music. I'm sorry if anyone loves it, can't stand it.
Wow. Look, it's fair. I feel like you're in good company with that one. I love it.
There were Nazis in it.
Yeah, it's true.
Just a little.
The horrors.
Yeah, and just the twirling
That's
around
so
on top of the mountain, and what should we do about Maria? And I don't care. Make this stop.
Just wait till you see a high school production of it. And then come back.
Why in particular? Why in particular this film?
I think it's my parents loved it, and I was real young, having to watch it a lot at about 5-6 years old. I actually, there's an epiphany, people. That's why I don't like musicals.
Right.
Back before streaming and DVDs and video, where you might have one video in the house, so you would watch it over and over again.
Yeah. That was the case. We watched Kroll in the same way on the 1st of spring, 1st of September. We always watched Kroll, and I was more than happy with that as a kid.
Kroll.
But this one, no. But that's me. That's my number 2. Sound of Music.
Okay.
Perfect.
That's okay. All right, so we're up to number 1s.
Yes.
Does anyone want to do any honorable mentions?
Please,
I do have an honorable mention.
Go for it.
It's not a movie.
So
I'm going to do an honorable mention now before we do number 1.
Yeah, let's do that. That's a good call.
I think.
I like that.
Okay. My honorable mention, there was a book in my school library, and it was stored with the Asterix and Tintin comics. And it was a wonderful book called When the Wind Blows.
Oh! It's just, go.
Yeah. It's a graphic novel basically about nuclear war by Stephen Briggs. Same guy did a couple of other different ones with the same characters in it. He also did Fungus the Bogeyman.
Yes.
Which they made a mini series out of recently.
Did they?
A video one. Yeah.
On the list.
Oh, is that a revelation?
Yeah, I did not know.
Give you a moment to write that down. It's actually quite good. They expand a bit on the world of the bogeyman in it, which is lovely. But when the wind blows, it is just awful.
Oh God.
It's unrelentingly negative and terrible. And that's my honorable mention, because and obviously as a child in limited library, I would go back to those books. I must have read it 8 or 9 times, and every time I'd forgotten how bad it was, and then I would get hit with it. It's just like, oh, this is awful. Why am I reading this? Oh, that's right, because all of the Tintin and Asterix comics are out.
Yeah, right. No one wanted to borrow that book. Okay.
Yeah, beautiful choice. I owned this book and I own Bogeyman as well, so I was a fan of the author Briggs. And reading this one at an early age was my first understanding, my introduction to nuclear war, which was a lot, of course, for anyone when you realize that's in the world. But what perturbed me with When the Wind Blows, even as a kid, is the way that they're so British about it. Oh, well, they'll look after us, they've got our backs, let's have a cup of tea, whilst their hair's falling out from the radioactive fallout.
God.
They're living in their house where they've made a shelter out of doors and mattresses.
Jesus. No, I have not seen that book. I did not read that book as a child.
I did. And I turned out fine.
I thought you were going to say When the Wind Changed. When the Wind Changed, where that kid's face gets stuck in a grimace. I was like, oh yeah, that scared me.
I was afraid that was going to happen. And that was used by my parents against me as well.
I think nuclear warfare is probably worse, probably scarier.
Really good honorable mention. Any others, Baron?
Let's see, did I have anything else in particular? Well, look, I am deathly frightened of reality television.
I concur.
Married at First Sight, The Only Way is Essex, any of those, Farmer Wants a Wife, any of those things just frighten me, because it's like there are people that they live their life by that, and these people just seem so awful and stupid. Like the people on the show just seem so awful and stupid, and I don't understand it.
I'm partial to reality TV, but I do think it is terrifying at the same time.
Any honorable mentions? Scream Queen.
I have a few. I have, first of all, just any film by Yorgos Lanthimos. So like The Lobster, The Favourite.
Okay.
And he also did The Killing of a Sacred Deer, but I haven't seen. I haven't seen that, so I cannot speak to that movie. But I know that The Favourite, the tension. I mean, The Lobster is very graphic from memory, but they're just creepy. So I would say anything by him is an honorable mention. I did have the movie Cats, the live action remake of Cats. I do think that is a horror film. And last but not least, I feel like this one's noteworthy because it just really stuck with me as a kid. My family used to watch Doctor Who, every week. Loved Doctor Who. And there is an episode called Midnight. It's a David Tennant, 10th Doctor, and there is this moment where they're on this sort of shuttle, and he's with a group of people, and there's this entity that joins them, and it starts repeating everything that he's saying.
Great episode.
And he is, and it gets to the point where they're speaking at the same time, and then it gets to a point where it's saying the things that he's gonna say before he says them. And I watched the scene again before this, equally horrifying, and that I stopped watching Doctor Who when I saw that episode because it freaked me out. It is so eerie.
Have you gone back?
Creepy. Have I? Oh yeah, I have.
Okay.
But as an 11-year-old.
No, fair.
That was, I was like, no, I need a break. So I missed Matt Smith, most of that. But that is just worth mentioning because when I think of things that scared me a lot as a child, I mean, special mention to the not the silence, the Vasmerada, the darkness, the shadows that sort of eat you when you step into them.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
those episodes also scared me. I think Doctor Who, not a horror, but also very scary. That's my honorable mention.
That's a great honorable mention.
My two things with Doctor Who come from much earlier, scary to me. The creature called the Zygons, which I think they've come back in one of the modern episodes. They had a serial called the Loch Ness Monster. That freaked me out. I couldn't watch it. But there's a spectacular episode, one of my favorite episodes. And it's called The Talons of Wing Chiang. There's some problematic yellow face in that particular episode. But the scary thing at the time, there's a ventriloquist puppet called Mr. Sin in it. And it's basically, in the episode, it's an automaton that is powered by a pig brain and a pig heart. And it's played by a little person by the name of Deep Roy, who you will remember as Oompa Loompa in the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka movie.
Okay.
But this was a truly, truly scary creature.
Okay, let me bring that up because I got to share this because I'm looking at it right now. What is that?
I'm scared.
Yeah. So,
I hate marionettes.
Give me one second.
He plays a puppet that's powered by a pig brain and pig heart.
Oh, which Doctor is that?
Fourth Doctor, Tom Baker.
Okay, yeah, okay, classic.
Yeah. There was another really good episode that he did called The Horror of Fang Rock, which was set in a lighthouse. But Mr. Sin in Talons of Wang Chiang was just frightening as fuck.
Yeah. Sorry, I've got to practice the share screening thing, but frightening image, absolutely. My two Doctor Who things was the Daleks when I was 5. Yeah, I hid behind the couch. Yeah, that classic, scenario. I was one of those kids. But there was another one, Baron, you might be able to help me. It was John Pertwee era. So I was super duper young. And there was a whole bunch of lava outside, volcanoes going off, and there was these kind of weird wolfman like creatures from outer space that were making all of this happen. Yeah, I had the book of it as well. I can't remember it, but it scared the shit out of me for whatever reason. I
can't remember the name of the episode.
But I'm loving that Doctor Who is still scaring people to this day. Yeah, well, certainly at Tennant's time anyway. I won't talk about the later on, but certainly at Tennant's time. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen, admittedly, a lot of the Peter Capaldi episodes, but when I looked up like scariest Doctor Who episodes, a lot of that season did come up. So a lot of that. So I haven't seen them, but apparently there's quite a few scary episodes. So do with that what you will.
Mr. Popcorn. The episode was called Inferno, I believe.
I think so. Yeah. Okay, cool. Good. Yeah.
Okay, what number ones?
Please. Let's do number ones, yeah? Oh, no, I wanted one special mention, yeah?
Oh, go for it.
We're talking about stuff we saw as a kid that we were too young to watch or really understand. So, part of it was that lack of comprehension that created the fear or the unease, if you will. And I have a really good example that boggled my brain. I don't know, Scream Queen, if you've ever heard of the greatest American hero.
Oh, come on.
No.
Wait, Baron, wait. Ridiculous show. Don't need to watch it, Scream Queen. But it was in the 80s. Basically, it was about this kind of bumbling, haphazard, but lovable kind of superhero guy. I think he put on a cape and he could fly, but badly. I forget the setup.
Cape and a suit.
Cape and a suit. There we go. But I don't know if you've ever seen
by aliens.
Okay. Was that what it was? Okay. I'm not recommending the show. This is not a recommendation. But there was there was one episode where he looked through a fireplace, the black hearth of a fireplace.
The
and then he saw his shadow self, yes, the dark side of his own personality within this fireplace, yeah? And this is about 10 years before I ever started reading Carl Jung and learning about the shadow. Freud talks about it as well, that sort of thing. Because that's what they were doing. That's what they were, playing with in this episode. But my God, it freaked the shit out of me because I learned about the dark side of the self and that you can have a shadow side to your personality at like 80 years old. And just the way they went into the fireplace and it was all black except the evil part of himself sitting at a table or something.
Yeah.
And that scared me.
That's scary. That's scaring me.
Scary episode.
Yeah,
it was a scary episode. I'll grant that. Like to give you a little bit of background, I own a replica of the Suits instruction book that he loses in the very first episode, so he doesn't know how to use his powers.
Okay.
So
wow.
It came along to me at a really formative time with superhero stuff. So I like the lighter stuff, but I will grant you that episode was truly scary.
Yeah, complete anomaly compared to the rest of them, but really good. I'll be curious to see who wrote that. But that's my special mention. Does anyone want to go last? Could I actually go last? Is that all right? Because it's a callback to something we were talking about. Baron, go.
So my number one is the Disney classic from 1937, Snow White.
Right.
Okay.
Pause for laughter. In particular, the evil queen in that film is quite scary. Like she does the ugly face thing. There's a storm. She's in a forest. It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first saw this film, we were living in Toowoomba. And we were staying at the Crown Hotel, which my parents managed. And we had a travelling troupe of actors who were going around Australia performing Snow White, who were staying in our hotel. And the theatre that they were performing in didn't have dressing rooms. So they would get dressed in their rooms and then they would go to the theatre from there. And when they weren't on stage anymore, they would come back to the hotel. So I, on a number of occasions, ran into the Queen in her age makeup in darkened hallways in my home.
Yeah, okay.
So consequently, I can't watch that film.
You have so many horrific stories of just being scared as a child. I mean, so does
it's amazing I've ended up as even and calm-tempered as I
am. And the fact that this creature from, that scared you on the screen is in your hallway of your home, that's a lot.
Yeah, I cannot imagine. Yeah. I cannot imagine the mental damage that would have done to me as a child.
Yeah. It's like someone, I don't know, if I was, 10 years old watching Chucky again, and then someone, like one of the other kids, decided to dress up as Chucky and just walk down the hallways at night or something. Yeah. Good stuff. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that, but
I did not think a Disney movie would make it onto the list.
Great reasoning.
Yeah, Scream Queen.
Okay. My number one non-horror movie that scared me is Cat in the Hat.
Oh wow. Hang on, live action?
Live action, Cat in the Hat.
That exists.
You haven't seen it? Oh my gosh. I mean,
not the live
me
action.
Not having seen a single classic horror film and you haven't seen Cat in the Hat, and I'm like, what? Cat in the Hat, Mike Myers. It's horrific. He's dressed as a giant cat.
Yeah, he looks frightening. Yeah.
If he was in my house, I would not be okay. He has a tendency for violence. It's not the cat that scared me the most. It is, and to this day, Thing 1 and Thing 2. In that movie, they have horrific little faces. They are monsters. They Evil. They are demons from hell, in my opinion. And what is most horrifying about them is the fact that they do not listen. The fact that these kids are desperately trying to mend the situations they are in and ask them politely to stop causing havoc, and these little monsters do not listen. They make things significantly worse, just over and over and over again, just doing all these horrible, monstrous things. And it was like so beyond upsetting to me when I watched that movie as a child, and also now. Like, I am so scared of them. Horrific. Nothing is scarier than Thing 1 and Thing 2. They're terrible. And I'm quite upset about the fact that they are so wretched, so evil.
Okay, again, not what I was expecting from Disney to Dr. Zeus. But fair. I hear you. All valid reasons.
Yeah.
And I'm looking
I feel like
I'm looking at Michael Myers' face, and I'm looking at Thing 1 and Thing 2, and they do look like little shits, definitely.
Just something about them is so,
and the way the uncanny valley hanging.
It's the uncanny element, and they also just have these like scary little voices and like way of communicating with each other, and like their little matching outfits. Yuck.
I don't want to see it. Yuck. No, it's not on the list. No.
It is. It's funny. It's a good movie, I would say. Even like for adult watching. There's what's the name? Will and Grace. The name of that the actor that's Sean
Black?
Oh.
No.
Oh,
why?
Gosh.
Why? What's the link?
He plays, so there is a character that he plays that I think is brilliant. He's like the boss of the main character's mother, and he's like this germaphobe. And he's I don't know, just very quotable. I have no issues with that movie except everything in it. Thing 1 and Thing 2 just really make it horrific, but it's funny. So I would recommend it.
Did you grow up reading Dr. Zeus?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. This must have been a bit of a shock to the system then. Yeah. Fair. It looks like no Grinch. Yeah, it doesn't look like the Grinch. Anyway, good choice, bizarre choice, but yeah, like it, both of you. Not what I was expecting. Well, yeah, cool. If I may, my number one, mine's not from childhood. This is recent, and there's no fun kind of kooky element to it, because the movie is Threads. Baron, do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, this fucking movie, man. Shout out Paul Morrell. We covered this on a previous podcast of mine. He British dude told me to watch this film. I was going through disturbing movies, classic ones, and so he said watch this movie. It's about nuclear war scream queen in Britain. It's a mock documentary. Pulls no punches. The first act, if you will, is basically the setup to conflict, and then about halfway through, bomb goes off, many bombs, and then the next half, you are with the main chick, the survivor, and it's just about basically her surviving as the world dies. There's no food, there's no sunshine, the earth is scorched, and it's going to be scorched for the next few hundred years, the next few centuries, before there's even one bit of fertile soil left in this part of the world. And it pulls no punches. It shows it in graphic detail, and because it is kind of like a narrative film, you're going along with these characters, feeling for them, but then you're also being plied with facts. This is the fact. impact of nuclear warfare, nuclear fallout, what it does to the environment, what it does to the people for 2 hours. It is so bleak. It is in that perfect British way. It's definitely worth watching, but be in a good, but make sure you've got something fun to watch afterwards as an idea, because this movie's a lot.
Watch Cat in the Hat.
And why I brought this back to number one, why I got excited about When the Wind Blows, because when I was doing the research for Threads, I went back and looked at When the Wind Blows, because it was a very similar time, both British talking about nuclear war, how it affects real people.
Yeah, I nearly included it as my honorable mention.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Do we think that there's going to be a resurgence in media and films and stuff about nuclear warfare in the same way? Because I was having a conversation with people recently. I mean, you have Oppenheimer came out.
Sure.
And they were sort of talking about, at the time that was all happening, people were so, like, nuclear warfare was like the most frightening thing, and it's echoed in the media that was made. And now, obviously, the possibility of nuclear warfare hasn't gone away, but I feel like it's definitely not at the top of people's end of the world fear list at the moment. But I feel like maybe it's coming back a little into the I'm just honestly just had the thought, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an uptick in nuclear warfare films again. Everything
if you
goes in cycles.
If you go back and have a look, at the origins of superheroes, back in the heavy nuclear days, like the Fantastic Four, they were hit with radiation in space. The Hulk was hit by the blast of a nuclear bomb. Spider-Man was hit with the bite of a radioactive spider, which they changed for the new films. It was genetically engineered spider, because people were more worried about genetic engineering.
Sure.
I can definitely see it coming back.
Yeah, right.
No, I can see it coming back as well.
I would be
good point as well, with what's happening at the moment. And conflict continues to arise, and like we discussed, AI. That's a good prediction there, Scream Queen, that could ramp up, and that won't just be in horror. No, because Oppenheimer is a very mainstream movie. Good call.
Yeah, I mean, horror's the escapism, right? So maybe there won't be a lot of horror about nuclear warfare, but everything else will be.
Yeah.
Right. Well, good lists.
Good lists. Yeah, a lot of unexpected.
Right, very surprising. Yeah, that's why I was excited about this topic, because
good call, Scream Queen. Yeah.
But it was hard to think about movies that weren't horror. It's most of what I watch. So,
do we have any ideas what we'd like to converse about next? Like, when are you back there, Scott? Are you back next week?
Yes. Yeah.
Tuesday?
I think so, yes.
Okay,
I'm definitely back before then.
Okay, cool. So we'll do Sissy then, yeah?
Yeah.
Any other ideas for convos? What was the other one we had?
Best kids horror films?
Which one?
Oh, yeah.
Best kids horror films?
That's not bad. Yeah.
Or Horror We Hated was another one.
That was the other one. Yeah,
that's nice.
Let's do that.
That could be interesting.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Just top five horror movies we loathe. Yeah.
I'm gonna try not to rewatch any of them if I can avoid it.
Good call. Yeah, but really cool list.
Great.
Yeah.
Any plugs, people?
Please, Baron, you're the one out there in another country at the moment performing. What are you up to?
Well, there's nothing here in New Zealand now. We've just been to the New Zealand Improv Festival, which was loads of fun. But coming up, I've got two things I want to plug. Number one, I want to plug Act React will be doing Speed the Movie to Play at the Wynnum Fringe, which I'll be in. And primarily, the next thing I want to plug is the Starting Zone, which is a show that I'm doing through Improv Queensland. So have a look at Improv Queensland. It's a immersive D&D, choose your own adventure kind of show where you get to be the heroes and solve the quest, basically.
That sounds kind
Sick.
of fun, actually.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I don't mind a bit of D&D. Scream Queen, how are your projects and such going?
Good. Plugging away at a draft that I'm writing. I've also, Jean and I work at Escape Manor. There's a blackout
Cool.
Halloween event happening from the Sunday before Halloween to Halloween night, which I've written a few of the backstories for. If people are keen, come along for that.
Yeah, and just further clarity, well, further definition of that is that you play escape rooms in a relative dark. Yeah, so most of the lights are turned off. You'll have some glow in the dark stuff. You'll have like a couple of torches, dimly lit torches, that sort of thing. But yeah, and then the foyer is all decked out and nice and macabre. We're all dressing up as roving characters. Yeah,
actors walking around, scaring people. It's a good time.
And also check out Seraphim Escape in Ipswich as well, because they're gearing up for Halloween and they've got a couple of really cool horror rooms, as well as a kids room, as well Santa's Surprise as well. So if you want to bring your kids along, it's a cool place to do that. It's a very fun room. I've game mastered it as well. It's very cool. Kids love it. And and also we would be remiss if we didn't mention Evil Corp as well, where we film.
Evil Corp.
Yes, shout out to Evil Corp, everyone there, Kate and Jay, absolutely. And certainly come check us out over in the next couple of weeks, gearing up to the 31st, as we are open Friday, Saturday nights now for the Maze. We're doing 2 nights a week. October the 28th will be huge as well. And and of course, there's our social media as well. We have Facebook, Evil Popcorn, Instagram. What was the handle again there? Screen Queen?
Evil Popcorn Pod.
And YouTube, so just Google Evil Popcorn YouTube. We come up, we've got our channel there. And yes, of course, Spotify, Apple, and basically working on all of the others, but those 2 are up and running now, thank F.
Check us out.
Yes. And do comment on all this sort of stuff. Good or bad comments, just engagement. We need engagement, definitely. And we want to know what you would like us to cover. We are doing the Australian horror season series until we exhaust that, but anything for these conversations, you want us to bring up, let us know.
Away.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's us.
See you later. Happy horror days.
Happy horror days. Happy Halloween.
Happy horror days.